this video I'm going to be talking about various complexes that affect our lives today and that clients bring and wish to work on in a session. But to begin with, I just want to clarify the two terms when I mention past lives and when I mention ancestor influence. An ancestor influence is somebody within our history, our blood history, that is dies unfinished, unclear, unresolved, unhappy in their death, and so their energy stays around and filters through the generations down to the client today, but they are a separate person. When I mention about past lives, what I'm talking about is the client's individual own past life residue that they have experienced some time ago in a different lifetime, and it is part of their soul's journey. These also can be unfinished. On the point of death, there can be issues, unresolved, unhappiness, thoughts and feelings that mean this energy stays around and comes through in the client's life today. But they are the past lives are part of the client, whereas ancestors are actually separate. Another issue that clients come with to explore in a session are issues to do with depression and feeling low energy, no motivation, lack of a sense of moving forward in their lives. So they can't seem to shake it off, and again we might explore their childhood, see if there's any particular events, but if not, we then look further afield. We look at ancestors and past life residues. And for this, the stories can be unfinished grieving. Grieving about loved ones they've lost through illness, disease, just leaving them, through famine, through war. And also the results of war, of invasion on the village, being left, having to witness this horrendous massacre. So all these kinds of issues can affect a client today. Then there's the phobias and irrational fears. Some clients come and we can't pinpoint it to an actual situation or event that happened in their life today. And so we look at these stories, and these stories could be suffocation, drowning through water, smoke or fire inhalation, a result of being attacked by an animal, natural disasters, tsunamis and earthquakes. So they seem to be irrational because they're not linked to an actual event in the client's life today, but they are rational because they are linked to a past life or ancestor story that is still affecting them. One of the issues that clients often bring is a sense of feeling insecure and a fear about abandonment in their life. This could be related to relationships, family, just being part of society, and they want to explore this in a session. What can often come up are the stories from our ancestors and past lives that are related to an actual abandonment, being left by your family, whether they've had to move on through war and the family has become splintered and separated, whether you were actually orphaned in a past life and these feelings and thoughts are still with the client today, and also the issue of slavery. There are many stories, many lives where individuals have experienced different types of slave lives, and these have a huge impact on our soul. So these residues of slavery can be issues of having no rights, not having a voice, not able to speak or express yourself, not able to do what you want, and being treated badly, being chained, being whipped, all different sorts of lives to do with slavery. And these can create feelings of insecurity, not trusting anybody in a client's life today. So they're really worth exploring and releasing and resolving these restrictions. Sometimes a client comes to me and they're feeling guilt, and we can't actually find the origin of it in their life today. So what we do is we explore the past life issues, unfinished business, but also any ancestor influences. And one of those is guilt and martyr complexes, which a client may be feeling, may be carrying in their life today. And what we find is there's often a story that is unresolved about having someone, a loved one, killed, or sacrificing a child, or ordering the death of others if they are a general or a leader and they actually put the orders through or the judgment to kill masses of other individuals. They can be burdened by that guilt, and that filters through to their lives today. And if you often find yourself having this sort of particular phrase and you can't actually locate any particular event or situation in your life, it's all my fault, I deserve this. This can be in a client's mind, but when we explore it, it's not related to this lifetime. So naturally we're going to explore where else could this come from. Apart from obviously growing up and maybe other people projections of making you feel guilty. Another issue that some clients bring to work on in a session is issues and difficulties to do with dynamics in relationships, and especially the intimate relationship with a loved one. These can be related to past stories, so ancestors or past life stories, where the dynamics, the roles, the issues between power balances and power stories, so a master and slave, a mistress and her lover, the prostitute and the owner, the madam. All of these are unbalanced in power. So if there are these residues acting out, playing, still affecting a client today, it will cause difficulties in relationships because that unbalanced power dynamic is still playing out. So the idea is that we need to explore and identify the story. Is it a slave and master story? Is there some need to help that slave be freed, to be able to be independent and resolved and transformed, no longer belonging to a master, no longer having to put up with how they are treated? And the same for a mistress. A mistress is someone who can never really marry the person, their lover, the man who is taking care of her, providing for her. She may have to watch her lover, her partner, who has a family of their own, and just watch on while she is on the sidelines. It's an unfulfilled life. The prostitute is also an individual who really in a way has no rights, has no power in their life. They are beholden to somebody else who is looking after them, managing them like a madam, and their trade is sex for money. So these issues, these unfinished residues, could play havoc in a client's life today when you're trying to have a balanced relationship, and especially on the intimate side with your partner today. So we like to identify these and clear them to enable your life to be transformed today. Some of the issues that clients bring are to do with their physical body, to do with their health. They may have a health condition, repeating issues, recurring colds, or for women in particular, recurring gynecological issues. Now, what's happened in the past in other sessions with clients is there tends to be the unfinished residues of a battle scene, where they have, as a past life or an ancestor, where they have been a man and they have been involved in fighting, whether they've been blown up and parts of their body have been pulled apart, whether they've been shot or stabbed, but there's some injury to the body that was never healed in that life and that was never resolved. Maybe their body was discarded dishonorably. A lot of the time in wars, lots of people are buried together. So there's no sense of respect or honouring that individual person, their individual spirit and soul. So those residues can filter through into a client's life today, and they hang around in our energy field. So they may not manifest exactly like the wound that you had as a past life as a man in a battle, but there'll be residues of that energy. And so they can manifest as reoccurring health issues, gynecological problems, to reoccurring colds and nasal problems. So it's a good idea to explore what is unfinished, what are the residues that you're carrying in the location of that body area that you may not be aware of, that may not be related to this lifetime.